Good morning everybody and welcome back. So, regular viewers, I know you're going to be looking at my surroundings and you're going to be wondering, where is she now? I'm not in Daisy, I'm not in the caravan you normally see, I am actually in another caravan. Now, for those of you who follow me on Instagram, you will see about 4 to 5 weeks ago, I did put photographs of my next project. Well, this is it. This is my next project. Yeah, I've bought another caravan and I'll explain why I've bought another caravan once I've given you a quick tour around, because I know you're all going to be like, what is this woman doing now? Does she never stop? But the purpose of this video is because I want to prove that you can actually get cheap caravans in relatively good condition, but you probably are going to have to modernise them a little bit, and that is definitely what this van is in need of. It needs quite a bit of TLC, nothing major, just sort of decorative wise, because yeah, you know me, you know I love getting my paintbrushes out and my tools and just completely making everything my own, and that's what this van is gonna, hopefully it's going to be turned into a little palace. So while the rain's gone off outside, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the outside best I can, because there is quite a bit of traffic going past, so I'm conscious of the road noise. And then we'll have a quick look inside, and then yeah, we'll get down to the nitty gritty of, well, A, why have I bought another caravan, and B, how much it's actually cost. Right, let's go and have a look outside. Right, I apologise for any road noise. So, it's a Lunar Apollo 924, 1998. See, parked up next to Daisy. Goodness knows what my neighbours think. I'm going to say, back in the day, this probably was quite an expensive van. So, and I'll explain why I think that as we go around the other side. So you've got your electric hookup there. It's also got a motor mover on. Right, so you've got your water here. Now, it's also got a crystal water filter. Not many caravans of this age had them. In fact, mine hasn't got one, and mine's a brand new caravan. Look at the muck, I will get that cleaned. So going back round the other side, oh, it's got 2 new tyres on. It's had a new leisure battery. It's got a new gas bottle in the lockup, but I've not brought the keys out. Now, these sort of things are what make me think it was a decent van. So, it's got a gas, like barbecue point. It's also got a 240 volt socket. Yes, rather dirty, but it's got one anyway. Which, as I say, for an older van, that's quite unusual. You've got a toilet compartment. Right, let's have a look inside now. So coming in, you've got a dinette area, which has a bunk that goes across there. And then decent storage up here. Now, all the foam are new and the cushions have been recovered. So it's got the Cascade gas fire and electric heating, and that's all controlled on a thermostat up here, which I've not quite fathomed out yet. And your water heater and pumper here as well. More storage. It's got some lovely lights. And then storage over that side as well. And then the lounge area, so that makes up into a king size bed, because this area here, this lifts off, so you can either leave that on and have it as a double, or lift that off and you have got a big king size bed. All your electric things are under here. In fact, I'm going to show you this because I just think this is crazy. So you've got your panel here with all your fuses in, and your trauma charger and things here. Now, what do we notice about this? Anyone? Yeah, it's upside down. Why have they put it that way round, I ask? Same with that. So you have to lift this flap and then try and read everything upside down. Why have they not just spun that round the other way? Somebody was not thinking on that particular day. Like I say, these are all new. You can feel when you sit on them, they're really firm. Now the kitchen area. So you've got your 3-way fridge. Let's move my little radiator out of the way. It's been warming everything up with that. And that all works on gas and electric. And then there's another decent sized cupboard there. Let's move the cat toy. Little storage cupboard under there. Nice clean oven, grill, and then you've got the 4-burner hob, and then the sink unit here. Good taps. I'm going to guess they've been replaced because they're not your normal caravan taps. Storage up there, and I thought this was quite handy. So somebody has wrote how many amps all their electric things use. I thought that's a good idea because when you're on site, there's nothing worse than tripping the electrics, which I often do. All the windows have got the fly screen and the thermal blinds. Got a little roof light up there, smoke alarm. One thing it hasn't got, which will be going in, is carbon monoxide detector. Another roof light there. So I love this dinette area. I think that's really good because you've got, you know me and my defined spaces. Obviously you've got your lounge, your kitchen and your dining room. Now, the piece de resistance of this caravan, I think, is... Oh, I'm going to address something actually. The grubby carpet is going. Look at that. That's shocking. Absolutely appalling. So considering it's been serviced every year, I'm not quite sure what happened with the carpet. Oh, I'll just show you the door as well. The door's got the pull-over fly screen and it's a split stable door. Obviously you always get that in the older vans, which I think are a brilliant idea. I think they're much better than the single ones. Right, and into the bathroom. So you've got decent sized wardrobe there. With some drawers underneath. And then that's just like a pull down one, so you could keep shoes in there. And then you've got sink area here, shelf over and a light, a decent mirror, and then a decent storage cupboard underneath. Oh, that towel's there because one of the water pipes had popped off, so I was just using it to mop up the leaks. Now, this is a clever idea. So under here is the toilet. You just lift this up. Look at that. I think whoever decided to do that, because I don't think this has been on from new. I could be wrong, because it is the same sort of wood, but I'm not too sure on that. Or if it's a later addition, but I think that is absolutely ingenious because you've then got somewhere to sit, do your makeup, do your hair, because there's a plug socket. What a clever idea, and it hides your toilet. I like that. And then it's got You can see I'm impressed by the tone of my voice. Look, the size of the shower. It's a proper walk-in shower. Look at that. That is amazing for the age of the van. Look, loads of room in here. Oh, if I turn you round, so you're like against the back wall there, and this is an absolutely really good size shower. You could get 2 people in here. You could get 3 if you wanted to go all out and conserve water. That's great though. If you've got like 2 kids, get them in the shower at the same time and you don't have to fill your water container up quite so much. Brilliant, love that. I think overall this is a cracking little van. Well, it's quite a big van, but do you know what I mean? I think it's absolutely wonderful. I love the layout. Now, I'm just going to point out a few things that I think, if you're looking at second-hand vans, what you should check for. Right, when I go looking at second-hand vans, I always look in the cupboards and press the wall right up in the corners, because they're the areas where, if it's going to get damp leaking through the roof, it's going to be them cupboards that are going to go, because it always seems to be the front ends. Always check around the skylights, because they're another one. If they've been leaking on the outside, it's going to be spongy. Underneath where we were before, always check right up into the far corners of the walls, and if they're dry, you know you've got no leaks at the front then. Around the door, always check around the door, because then you know if your seal's gone. Your floor, check for any bounciness. I mean, it is going to bounce because I haven't got my steadying it properly because I'm on like a gravelly drive. But yeah, any soft spots, it's usually, I find, either when you immediately walk in or the area where it gets the most use, which is always around the cooker area. So always just check, is it a bit soft, is it a bit spongy? And then same in the bathroom, I always check around where the sink is, and also if it does have a shower, stand in the shower tray and have a bit of a bounce if you can, because obviously if there's been any leaks under there, the shower tray is going to start giving. And also you can just double check the outside of the van underneath where the bathroom is, because that'll show if there's any leaks. These are absolutely super firm, and it's such a shame because they're actually going to be going. The layout is not staying as it is. It is getting completely swapped about this end. The reason being is because this caravan is going to get turned into a off-grid home, because yes, it is actually going to be lived in. So I am going to live in it for about 3 months, and then my daughter, who's 18, she is then going to be living in it alongside me in a different caravan. Because, yep, you're all getting like a little bit of a spoiler here. Next year I am moving off grid. I've said it now. I know I've dropped so many little hints along the way, but I haven't been able to say a great deal because there's so many things that I'm kind of getting in place. But we're progressing nicely now. So yeah, in a few months I am actually going to be living in this caravan, not on my driveway, and it's all so exciting. But we'll get into more of that on another video, because this video is predominantly about this caravan. Now obviously I said I've got to make it into a livable space. Now because it's going to be my daughter's, she is going to have quite a bit of an input. She is going to have the input regarding colour scheme and everything. Layout wise, I'm going to kind of decide that because I know what's going to work best. So this end here is actually going to become a fixed bed with a sofa. That's my plan in my head. I've measured it all and it is going to work. So as I say, it's a bit of a shame because these are really good cushions, but they're not going to be needed. Now, the reason I went for this style of van is because obviously, you know, I've had lots of caravans over the years, and I think this is an absolutely super layout for a living van, because yes, you've got your fixed bed, you've got your kitchen area, you've got a dining area, and most importantly, especially for an 18-year-old girl, you've got a super sized bathroom. That bathroom is bigger than the one definitely in my Swift Elegance. There's a lot more space in that. I did say to her, oh, I might come and have a shower in yours. Yeah, didn't really get much enthusiasm on that one. I have a feeling that door will be locked. She will not be letting me in. So yeah, sort of style wise, it is going to be hair colour scheme and things, unless she picks something really awful, because I did say, you got to bear in mind I'm going to be living in it for 3 months, so it's got to be, yeah, I've got to be able to, yeah, cope with it as well. Luckily her taste is very similar to mine. Now this time of year, so we are now in November, so yeah, I bought it October, and there are some bargains out there. It's just a case of deciding what sort of style you want, what you need the caravan for, and just, well, this was actually off Marketplace. Scour places like Marketplace if you want something a little bit newer, maybe with a bit of a warranty. A lot of the dealers at the minute have got really good offers on, because they are trying to get rid of a lot of the stock before winter comes. It's even worth going and speaking to dealers and asking them, because they won't be on the forecourt, have they got any cheap trade-in vehicle caravans? Because quite often they'll have them out the back and they usually just eBay them. So it's always worth asking, or just going and saying, look, if you do get any in, if you're in a position you can wait, if you do get any in, here's my details, and yeah, before you eBay it, you know, I could be interested. And definitely they just want to get them moved. They don't want them sitting taking up space, because they don't make any money on them. So yeah, I personally would do that. Now, I did drop lucky with this. So it's a 1998, so yeah, it's a, you know, it's an old van, but like I say, it's got all them little features which makes you think it was an expensive van back in the day. It's built nice, you know, all the cupboards are of a good quality. They're not the cheap flimsy ones. This caravan has had one owner from new up until the couple I bought it off. Now, they got it the start of the year from this lady, but due to their circumstances they only used it once, and it's not practical for them, hence why they were selling it on. Now, the lady who owned it, she had it serviced every year, so that's a good indication it's a caravan that's been looked after, apart from not quite sure what's gone on with the carpet. Maybe there was another carpet down and the couple have taken that one up. I don't know. It just seems really weird that the carpet is so dirty, yet all the upholstery is spot on, unless she was revamping it and then gave up. Not too sure, but anyway, that carpet will be coming up later on today once I've done this video. I just wanted to show you it in its raw state. I can't wait to get that goddamn carpet up. Now, I didn't tow the caravan because obviously my Berlingo, well, A, I haven't got a tow bar, and yeah, I don't think my Berlingo would have pulled it very well, or it might have attempted it, but yeah, it wouldn't have been safe. So my good friend Pete, who, as quite a few of you know, he does all my little jobs for me that I'm incapable of doing, so he actually picked it up for me a few days ago. Now, he said it tows absolutely perfect. He's got a new caravan. They have a big twin axle caravan, and he said, yeah, it tows like a dream. So, you know, it's being looked after, and that's what you want, really. You can go and look at some and you might think they're a really good price, but I would definitely even get on your hands and knees and get underneath them and look at sort of like, you know, the towing area, the chassis underneath. Just make sure it's all, yeah, as it should be, because some of them, there are some absolute death traps out there, and I've looked at some over the years and you've sort of gone, oh geez, somebody's going to end up buying that. Now, regarding price, obviously I wanted something relatively cheap, because although we are going to be doing this van, we don't know how long my daughter's going to be living in it, because she may be going off to uni. So obviously to go and buy, I couldn't afford to go and buy a much newer van, so it definitely had to be a second-hand one. And I just thought, if we can make this a little home, then it's going to be absolutely perfect without breaking the bank. So I actually paid £800, and I have got to say, I think that is £800 well spent, because I know from past experiences of how much it's going to cost to sort of renovate this caravan and make it into a little palace for my little princess. It's not actually going to break the bank, because other than painting the cupboards and, you know, the ceiling, putting some wallpaper up, revamping the kitchen area, you know, it's just a couple of tins of paint, that's it, and a little bit of wallpaper, which we've already got. Actually, we have got a roll of wallpaper which was meant to be for our bedroom where she is now, and I was like, see, that's why I didn't put it up, because I knew it'd come in if we ever went to live in a caravan. The biggest expense is going to be the flooring, because it always is, because obviously you want quite decent flooring. So yeah, £800. I am going to document the stages that I go through to make it, yeah, into a little off-grid living area. I am going to put a diesel heater in it, because although yes, it has got the gas fire and the electric side of it, we don't want to be running it on the electric, because, well, we're going to be off-grid. So we can't really run it, we can't run it on mains. So I think a diesel heater is the way forward in it, definitely. So yeah, there we go. I don't really think I can say much else about it at this point. If you've got any questions, please just drop them in the comments and I'll try my best to answer them. I'm no expert, but I have done a lot of caravan renovations over the years, so I kind of know my way around them. And I would say, if you see something and it needs a little bit of, you know, say if the floor is a bit spongy, that's just what they call delamination. It is so easy to fix, it really is. Go on YouTube. There are so many videos. There might even be a video that I've done, not on YouTube, it could be on Instagram, because I've done floors with delamination in the past, and honestly, it's so easy to do. I always say, if I can do it, anyone can do it. And for those of you who followed my progress with Tilly, my little micro caravan, you'll see I literally ripped her apart back to bare metal and rebuilt her inside, because it's all doable. It's not like buying a house that's got damp and then it's a major expense. With a caravan, if it has got damp, rip it out and start again. Simple. They're the wise words from Carol Ann. Anyway, I hope you're gonna follow the progress of, yeah, renovating this caravan. Let me know if you're surprised at the price. Let me know if you've had a caravan like this in the past and what your view on it was. Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all again soon, no doubt with a drill in my hand or a paintbrush in my hand. So see you soon. Bye for now.